dub, designing systems that had various types of inputs, working with different programmers, technologists, dancers, and just really realizing that, especially collaborations, you're really more than the sum of your parts. And that's why I really loved that previous talk. So I've done art for a variety of platforms. And one thing I really wanted to get into is the constraints that exist in VR and how we can be inspired by them, and how we can, like I said, shape the future. Okay, so these are some of my previous projects. Worked in Unity before using the Connect, either using real-time dancers, or in live performances, or pre-recording that data. I worked a lot with Pete back there. Give a wave. Woo! Yeah, Pete's the man. So lucky to work with him. And so, yeah, just explored in past work, changing movement over time, visualizing space in different ways, extruding it, collapsing it, and so forth. And that's what this is. It's a dancer's negative space movement, collapsed, and then you see profiles and so forth. And then while I was at Nova Wake, the company I founded last year, we showed work at museums, art festivals, and our studios, and we really got a sense of what people were comfortable with. And I'll talk about the experience that I launched that's on Steam right now, kind of in the talk. Here we showed work at a art festival in Spokane, Washington, East Side. Yeah, so basically, when I'm trying to imagine a system or dream up a world, I really need to know what constraints we're working with, right? And in VR, it's this amazing medium that we can like create a whole new environment, but we also have these, chords and controllers or not controllers, and really I just wanted to, especially if you're totally new to VR, and I just wanted to highlight some of the movement systems that already exist, and then also really encourage people to just try things that people have told them that they won't work, just to try them. So these movement systems are largely specific to like Oculus and Vive, where you have spatialized movement. So Gear VR, for example, you don't have your spatialized movement when you move around. Teleportation is the most common and widely used. It's really easy for people to understand that, okay, I want to go there, and then after you click a button, you're there. And so that way you don't have to, you can get outside of the little meter area you have to walk around, or if you're in a seat, then you don't have to worry about that either. So Valve has done this with the lab. Budget Cuts is really similar. And then Cloudhead has their whole blink paradigm. So just things to check out later, really, if you're interested in them. And then, so one of the projects that we worked on at Nova Wake was where you're in a cave and you have galaxies floating around you. And my business partner really wanted to be able to fly, and I thought, this is crazy. People are gonna get sim sickness, like this is not gonna work. But he really wanted to try it, so we ended up trying it out, and he tuned the system well enough so that really we've had like 90% people like have just a fine time with it and really enjoy it. So let's see if, oops, this is a let's play. So he's just kind of flying around. So, and it goes in the direction that you're moving. or sorry, you move in the direction you're looking. And it's not wanting to play. But anyway, come to find out, actually, Ubisoft game is doing something very similar using called Eagle Flight, where you're just gazing to move around. All right, well, that's not going to work. Maybe this one is what I wanted. So it's very slow. That's one that helps, but there's also this super speed where you go in a straight line faster, and that also helps you not get disoriented. So the big reason I mention that is it's one of those situations where you don't think it'll work, or maybe someone doesn't think it'll work, and then you try it anyway, and then it turns out to be pretty successful. And then one way you can get around any kind of sim sickness flying is using a cockpit, like Eve. Magic carpet is another way of moving around. Basically, it's just using real world tricks where you step onto a platform and you take the elevator up to the next floor, and then all of a sudden you have more room to walk around. A conveyor belt and so forth. And then I was really impressed by this one game. I haven't played it, but they figure out how much space you have, and then you have this, it feels like an infinite way to walk around and crawl around, but you're actually not escaping this little small space you have. So they designed the paths in such a way so that you're using the best amount of the space that you have. That's like the infinite space, the second point. And then just like the Wii remote, you can paddle a canoe or use those kind of real world analogs. And then there are just examples that I found that are just kind of silly and fun. And again, you should try those kinds of things because you never know what you'll get. I found one where it was a Frogger game, and every time you jump, you just move forward in the game. And so to me, that seems like you might get a little sick if you move forward and you're not physically moving forward. But hey, it's fun, and you have to try it. Another example, this guy used, the YouTube's not working very well, but he used one arm to kind of pedal your forward trajectory. So I thought that was interesting. And then this isn't exactly a movement system, but it's another project that I worked on, so I wanted to share it. This is more of like, is it a movement system or is it a controlling system? And this is a project where the camera in Unity is actually stationary, and you're in an asteroid belt, and things are just coming at you. So you feel extremely stable, even though you're moving up and down, and things are flying at you. So you also end up looking kind of goofy too, which is great. The best part of VR. So you become the controller in this case. Oh, anyway, so that was a lot of fun. Yeah, so just for me, knowing these constraints are really helpful, and I hope this, gives you an idea of things to think about when you're trying to move around in the environments that you create. But I just say, try what you want to try. Try and make it. So, does anybody have any questions?
When doing your gaze-based flight system in the Galaxy game, did you run into any challenges or make any mistakes with that?
Yeah, it was definitely a fine-tuning process, and that was not my project specifically, but I definitely saw how it was a fine-tuning process. Mm-hmm. other questions? Okay.
So, what's the vector in the future for this? Like 5 years from now, what's the ideal? Where's it going to go? I mean, ideas?
I think a lot of people just really want a backpack and to have their VR headset and be able to move around wherever they want to go. And be cordless. Cordless is definitely the future. But I don't know. We'll see. Cool. Well, thank you very much.